Thank you so much, everyone. Indeed, all power belongs to God. Well, on that note, let's begin again, everyone. We're staying with the APC World Congress and the aftermath. I'm now being joined by yet another leader of the APC, the governor of Nasarawa State, Governor Abdullahi Sule. He joins us from Lafia. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight. It's always a pleasure listening to you at a very tough time, just like your party is. Well, let's perhaps begin. There's been a lot of discordant tunes and a lot of disagreements in your party. Some people will say that's natural for political party affairs, but this does not look like something that is usual. The fears of different people in your party that the party is in a dire situation, in a very deep crisis. What is your view on the ongoings?
Thank you very much, Shaun. You always talk about deep crisis. You know, I don't know where deep crises are. And I really don't know where it even started. Definitely not in the APC.
Your Excellency. The problem is that
congresses, and we had wonderful congresses. Everything went very, very well for us here in Nasarawa State. We had a consensus arrangement, and everywhere everything went peacefully. At the national level, I've been hearing there are some few states, as usual, you know, some few states, whether there are issues or no issues, you know, people will disagree because there are factions, because of the love for the party. You know, so many people are joining the party, so there are a lot of intra going on. You know, some people that want to take over and things like that. So, and yeah, we have had that. But as far as we are concerned, you know, here in Nasarawa, many states that I have as governors, everything went peacefully. So I'm really not aware of any.
Usually, when someone is swimming and is not has not realized that he's drowning just yet, might not see the crisis. But for some of us who are monitoring, and perhaps we have seen more than one dispensation of political party leadership, we can see and smell crisis from a distance. So when we report that there is crisis, sometimes, most all of it, 99% of the time, there is crisis. But politicians never agree that it's crisis. But give me a sense of what this means for the APC. I know it's a learning curve. The party is gradually learning a few things in this situation. But the issue of consensus has caused a lot of stir. If it's good for Nasarawa State, could it be a blanket, this blanket arrangement? Does it work for everybody? I'm not sure. But give us in on what your view is. Can the party have a blanket as sort of a way of dealing with this election across board?
You see, consensus is part of our constitution. Consensus is where every time you have an election, especially in our kind of environment in Africa, not just Nigeria, you know, some people who probably, you know, may lose the election will come up with so many other things. So consensus is a family arrangement, and our party is a family. So what the consensus is all about is saying that stakeholders get together, you know, look at the various people who qualify to vie for one office or the other, discuss with them, see how you can work it out. You know, and then, so that's consensus. So consensus is not necessarily forbidden everywhere around the world that you go into democracy. You know, consensus is an arrangement that is allowed. A lot of people might vie for an office, but they may find somebody that may be more qualified for that office, and they decide to actually step down for that. You know, and we have seen a lot of that in Nigeria from 1999 when we returned to democracy up to date. You know, that does not amount to crisis. Now, let me take you on, since you are not the one taking me on. I know that you are so worried. It's about this interpretation about the Ondo case, the judgment that happened in Ondo. The reason why I tell you I see no crisis is because people are referring to an issue that was not even discussed. This judgment is not even ready yet. Up till this moment, the judgment has not been written. Yet, we have somebody who just went on the social media and said, this might happen, this is the case, and now you said it's crisis that you are seeing, which we are not seeing. So you can see the kind of crisis you see, Shaun, that we can never see. Because we can't see any crisis when a judgment has not even been written yet. They have not written the judgment, they have not passed it, so we don't know the details. They just given the summary of it. And they say if A will have happened, then B will have been the case. But yet, A did not happen for us to know whether there was a case or not. Yet we are saying there is big crisis all over the APCs. That's why I say, I'm telling you, I don't see the crisis. But if you see it, tell me exactly what the crises are, and then maybe I will be able to address them.
Maybe I can convince you speaking law now. So let's start from the very top. The basis and the premise for the judgment in Ondo case, where we had the superior judgment of 4 justices and the dissenting judgment from 3 justices, is on the premise, the technicalities in which took the PDP candidate to court, from the appeal court to the Supreme Court, was the fact that the man who signed the nomination form from Mr. Akeredolu is a 7-sitting governor of a state. And according to Section 183 of the Nigerian Constitution, as amended, it does provide that if you are serving as a governor, you do not have the right to take up any paying job. That people interpret it that the governor is not getting salaries. But the question is, it's a paying job whether you agree to accept it or not. And so the argument now is that that might be a problem because the justices disagree on that note. The only point where they disagree on was the fact that Governor Mai Mala Buni was not joined in the case. And so the senior advocate of Nigeria's debate, the 3 of them that I started earlier on the program, their worry is that this might give the party a problem in 2023.
Okay, thank you very much. Now let's go back to the issue you brought about. The second part of the petition, let me take you even a little bit backwards to the petition by Jagede's lawyers, where they clearly stated that the caretaker committee chairman, being a governor, had no right to sign. You think they are stupid for them not to join him? If they had joined him in that case, the case would have been dead on arrival because of his own immunity. So they knew what they were doing. That's the reason why they didn't join him. Now, secondly, when you talk about a paid job, all of us governors, irrespective of the political party, definitely take one committee work or the other. And the reason why we take this committee work, today, for instance, I am the chairman of the Mass Mobilization Committee. Nobody is questioning that. Nobody pays me for that, of the party. I'm also, today, as I'm telling you, at the federal level, not even within the party, I'm the co-chair of the technical working group of the Poverty Reduction Committee, set up by the federal government. Nobody pays me for that. So if you say as a governor, you cannot take any caretaker job just because there is a section that was not even detailed as far as this report is concerned. Because if you go and look at the judgment, what they are saying is, the man was not joined. In the judgment, they didn't clearly go down to define whether he is wrong to have accepted that or not. Yet somebody sat down there and say, oh, if they had done that, and now by the time it gets to you, Shewan, you say it's a big crisis. Now you see the point I'm making. As far as the judgment is concerned, it didn't even address Section 183. It didn't say anything about that. It said you did not join the gentleman. And they knew the reason why they didn't join him, because if they had joined him, the petition would have been dead on arrival. That's why they didn't join him. So where are the crises? You see, this is the issue. The man is not paid for the job that he is doing. And that's the reason why we went around and carried on with all our jobs. Now, what most of the people are saying, I wish you have actually seen, you are saying a lot of SANs are written that well. A lot of SANs are also saying, that there is no case to answer. We shouldn't worry about that. So it's a debate of the SANs. I just had the governor of Ebonyi saying he's an engineer, just like I'm an engineer also. That we sat down there and we went through everything that these guys are saying. We keep reading the constitution of our party. We read the constitution of the country, the section 183 you are referring to, of 1999 constitution as amended. We read through that. We don't see the conflict. We just don't see it. But if other people are seeing it, others are also not seeing it. The same SANs like them, including the Attorney General of the Federation, and also all our SANs that we have as legal team of the party, they are saying we are not seeing it. And even those who are outside our party, they are also writing they are not seeing it. But I think some people just prefer to concentrate on those that are saying that there is a risk. What is the risk? I mean, life as a whole is about a risk. When you leave your office today, Sheun, you are going home, you are going to drive, you are taking a risk. So as far as we are concerned, life is about risk. Everywhere you go and however you take it. So that's our position as far as we are concerned in APC. We don't see a risk because there is none.
I think maybe what has happened is giving some people some troubles, what has happened in the recent past. So if you look at the case in Rivers State, your party was not even on the ballot. You look at what happened in Zamfara State. Your party won the election. It was scuttled. You look at what happened also in Bayelsa State. On the day the man was supposed to be sworn in for legal reasons. All of these that I've mentioned in all these 3 states were based on legality. And your party lost those states based on legality. For some of these lawyers, they say it's a gamble. And they're advising that the party should err on the side of caution rather than go out and think that there is no problem. And they are giving options that look, quickly find an alternative to the Buni-led caretaker committee to resolve what might be a looming disaster waiting in the wings.
Well, you have mentioned about the one of the APC. You have not mentioned the one of the PDP. The party also won in some states, if you look at it, based on legalities. The party won in Imo based on legalities. The party, you can keep mentioning that. As I'm telling you, it goes both ways. Okay? So there is nothing wrong with that. But all these issues you are bringing, they are completely different from what we are talking about today. What we are talking about today wouldn't have come up at all if there was no judgment of the case in Ondo State. But those cases you are talking about, they came up with or without issue of Ondo State. So that's why I'm saying, and I'm not saying that we are not cautious. Immediately it happened to show how cautious we are. We had a meeting. We had several meetings. We invited several legal people. We asked them to look at it again. And I'm saying they look at it and they gave their own interpretation. Let me tell you how we started. A minister serving in APC, came up with this. And he brought it out to show you how cautious we should be. It's a serving minister that brought it up. Though even if I was the minister, I wouldn't have brought it up to the level that it became a crisis like you are describing. Rather, as a minister, I will have taken that document straight to the other minister, a colleague of mine who is the Attorney General of the Federation, and say, this is my understanding. What do you think? And then by the time they understand it, then it can exploit. But I'm not blaming him. He probably has his reasons for doing what he did. I'm just telling you the way I will have approached. So now, coming back to the issues, they are completely different cases. You don't take apples and oranges and mix and say they are the same. No, the issue that we had clearly in Zamfara is completely different from the issue of Boni that we are having today. The issue we had, which APC actually won in Imo now and took over from PDP, is completely different from the case that we have in Ondo. So let's not mix them, But APC is very cautious. APC is very, very selective. We are very careful. Every time we hear something, we check. But we don't have to go on the pages of newspapers to the media and say we are checking, we are cautious, we are this. No, we do that quietly as a responsible party. That's the way it is.
So if you, just on a final note on this issue of legality and the fears of some of the members of your party, the judgment was 4-3. That means Mr. Akeredolu was lucky. And the fear is that your party may not be as lucky next time.
The party will have been luckier if he was joined. If he was joined in the issue, as I'm telling you, the day they took that case to the panel, they will have killed that matter there and then. We will have been luckier. Okay? So they were very careful by not joining Buni. And now the judgment is clearly that they did not join him. The judgment did not bring up the issue of Section 183 of the Constitution. It didn't say that. As I'm talking to you, up till this moment, the judgment has not even been written for us to know the details of the judgment, as I'm talking to you. Yet, some people have already, that has not yet been written, and have already huge crisis, explosion, and all those. So how do you reconcile our position at this thing? Yes, we are careful. Yes, we will do whatever needs to do to keep the party to do that. No doubt about it. We'll do that. The moment we see a situation like that, yes, we believe, understand it. Remember, it's also SAN. Our Minister of Works is also SAN. We have, in our party, and they are also checking. You think they want to go down the hole just because there is some interpretation that needs to be done. See, different people are given different interpretation, and let them do that. It's all about.
Okay, so let me leave that for a moment and go into the future for the APC. The party has started these World Congresses. You're going next for the LG, then state, then the National Convention, if everything goes well. But the World Congress of Saturday does look like things are not okay. It might be okay in Nasarawa State, but in at least 15 states, if my count did not fail me, things did not go well. How do you hope that the party can resolve these major issues?
No, they will be resolved. The reason is that we have had situations telling you when a party is this popular, you are definitely in a crisis. Today, in some states, what I mean that no opposition is because most of the key elements are in APC. So that kind of the opposition. So when you have a situation like that, there's going to be a lot of internal wrangles because people want. In our own state, even though you say Nasarawa's example, but in our own state today, previous governors, nearly all the senators, all the former members, all of them, they are all in the party and they keep returning every day. So when you have all these positions will try to see, since they want to make sure they have a stake in the party. And about the next election. And most of these states that you are, and I'll give you a good example like this, the Kwara. Okay? So in that, the problems of power tussle between the governor and some stakeholders. Like that, you are going to have this kind of crisis. So it is normal. And I don't see it as an explosion or big problem or huge crisis. Because in democracy, you have this all over. To do the best they can to see that they have some representation and they have some input and they have this. So but that's the way I see it. And it will, soon after the congresses and our convention, you will not hear any of this anymore because everybody will know.
Your case in Nasarawa State, Your Excellency, is typical of this political situation in several states that the APC is holding sway. So you have governors and you have former governors. You have at least one former governor in Nasarawa APC. And this contest, it is not written in your party constitution that a governor is the leader of the party. But from your own view, if you have your former principal, who is now a senator, who is the leader of the party in the state?
Engineer, governor of Nasarawa State remains the leader of the party. In every governor of that state is the leader of the party. There is no ambiguity, joke about it. There is nothing. So there may be former governors where they were the leaders of the party. Today, the leaders of the governors of the state, the leader of our party at the federal is President Buhari Yusefa. And this is their. Nobody argues that. Anywhere there are people arguing out of ignorance or out of greed. That's where we are.
And so perhaps this is going to lead me to a more critical question and a puzzle that a lot of the political parties in Nigeria will have to deal with in 2023. I know you, as a leader of the party, you are one of those who is canvassing for the leadership of the party, the national chairmanship position, to go to the North Central. But what about the president, the role of the president? in your party, we've had President Buhari from the northwestern region of the country, who would have served 8 years by 2023. What, in your own view, will be fair and just in terms of zoning or in terms of rotation of power? Which region, from your own point of view, because I know you're a sincere and honest man, where do you think power should be rotated to in 2023?
I thought you already say I'm a politician. You want to bribe me with that. I'm honest. I don't have a problem with that, Sheun. I think I have answered this, and this is the third time I'm answering that to you. In fairness, I believe rotation, because I believe rotational presidency in Nigeria. I strongly believe in that. This is my view. It is not the view of the APC governors. It's just my view. I say that is because we have 3 senatorial zones. Just the 2 senatorial zones have 5 local each. Our own senatorial zone has many areas. Even in our own senatorial zone of Nasarawa North, the number in the 3 local government up to the number of voters alone in the other zone. So rotation, if it is just the most powerful take it all, I mean a governor today. So how can I of rotation and now go against it? So I'm doing it also to view, So we have the right person. The only thing I keep saying, have the right person, the right can not destroy our party. If we the first to support a southern president, that I'm not hiding that. This is a reality. But anybody serious enough, competent, that will actually build up, take over from our president, then definitely I will support a president from the north. Otherwise my preference will be somebody from the south, who has to take over and do the good job that the president, as I'm actually seeking for, so that if the national chairman is from the north central, president is from the south, the equation is, to understand my argument. You can help me to
Governor Abdullahi Sule, Executive Governor of Nasarawa, said, it's always a pleasure, but I must sincerely thank you for creating time tonight. I know it's a tight one before you agreed to come on tonight, but thank you so much indeed for coming on.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
Appreciate it. So let's close now, and apologies for keeping you this time. But in 30 seconds, are you planning any disciplinary measure on Lagos for Lagos group or Mr. Jide Adediran? Because it does look like the leadership of the party have come out to speak strongly about that position he held yesterday.
Well, it is very clear that it's advisable at this point in time for all of them to fall in line with the party's position. Party discipline is very germane in democratic politics. And I will also say that whatever their issues might be can be amicably resolved rather than resorting to social media and putting wrong information in the public space. That will not be good for us as a party. So I want to use the opportunity to invite them back home.
Thank you so much, really, Mr. Ladejo, for coming on tonight, the APC National Publicity Secretary in Lagos. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Well, that's our show for today, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm sure Akimale. Bye for now.